Aloha. What we're going to be talking about right now is going to be the idea that we have four types of triads. One is a major that we've spoke about. So when we have a C, E, and G, we've quite literally got a 1, 3, 5. When we flatten that median to a E flat in the key of C, we have C, E flat, and G. That has a definite minor tone, doesn't it? The other one that we have for this is going to be an augmented and a diminished. Kind of hinted on the augmented. An augmented is a 1, 3, and then instead of having a 5, we have a sharp 5. Right? So in the key of C, instead of having a G, we have a G sharp or an A flat, both the same notes and harmonic equivalents. However, we're going to call it a G sharp, C, E, G sharp, and that's an augmented chord. We'll get back to that in some future episodes and sessions. However, for this session, we're going to talk about our third type of triad, diminished triads. Now, a diminished has a key characteristic that a minor has. It has a flat third, but it also has a flat fifth in addition. So C major with an E and a G. If I flatten the E and I flatten the G, I get a C diminished. Now, the diminished always resolves a half step up. So it will go to the C sharp major. So what I like to do to get very familiar with all these is maybe do a C major, and then do a C diminished, and then a C sharp major. Since I'm at that point, I take my fingers and realize I've got 1 major 3, and then a perfect fifth. If I drop my 3 down to a minor, I get my minor harmony rather than my major, and then my fifth goes down, I get my C sharp diminished. And that's going to resolve up a half step to the D, which is a D, F sharp A. Now, you don't have to know all the names of these notes, but if you look at it, that one black key that you're holding there for the D major, that you're going to feel the 1 and the 5, the D and the A. In fact, anywhere you put your fingers on this thing, except for the B flat and the B, is going to have a traditional 1-5 kind of feel. So if I go to C, C to G, I fit my 5 fingers in there. If I go to E flat, when I go down here and I put my 1 and 5, I'm still going to have 1, 3, 5, or 1 flat 3, 5. I would have, or, so hypothetically, every one of these except for the B flat, which is a B flat to F for the 1, 5, and then the D in the middle, or the D flat for the minor, and then B major with the D sharp and the F sharp, or you flatten that third to get a minor. So when you go through this, don't rush, do them in a certain pattern. I'm going to do this pattern and work it all the way up just so you can see it, and I hope it makes sense. C major, I'm just going to keep my C note over here. C diminished by flattening the 3 and the 5, and I'm going to go up to a C sharp major. If you can't knock that C sharp major out right away, try and just do your 1 and 5, and then fill in that major third. Now I've got my flat 3 and flat 5. I'm going to go to D major. Now I'm going to flatten my 3 and my 5, and I'm going to go to D sharp. And I'm going to flatten my 3 and 5. Nice. And I'm going to go to E major. Nice. And then I'm going to flatten my 3 and 5. I'm going to go to F major. And then flatten my 3 and my 5. I'm going to go to F sharp major. Flatten my 3 and 5. I'm going to go to G major. Flatten my 3 and my 5. Hit her on that, sorry. And then I'm going to go to G sharp. Flatten my 3 and my 5. Here we go. I'm going to go to A major. All right, flatten my 3 and 5. So my C sharp's going to go down to a C, and my B, or my D is going to go to E flat. Now I'm at A. Here's the weird chord, right? If I play that same feeling and I try and do that, I'm going to get a 1-6, not a 1-5. So be very careful on that B flat, that you got your B flat major, and then when you flatten, that you flatten your notes of your flat 3 goes, your major third goes to a flat 3, and then your major fifth goes to a flat 5, which gives you B flat diminished, which is going to resolve, or A sharp diminished, and it's going to resolve to a B major. Yeah? Then our B major, we're going to flatten our 3 and our 5. And you're going to love this one because it's the same one from our C major. The B diminished always feels the easiest to play. I don't know why. Here's our B diminished. Right? And our B diminished, after being in a B major, flattening the 3 and the 5, is going to resolve to a C major. See how we just went through every single one of these, and we went all through the different chord structures. It allowed us to hear what we were actually trying to accomplish with these notes, and then go through all different structures. This works with major to minor. We could also do that in a bunch of different other variations. So this week, work on that concept. And then instead of just having the left hand play one note, maybe try and vary it up. What I was trying to show you in practice is I had a C major over here, and I did a 1, 2, 3, 4, and I went down. So that gave me an extra second to move my diminished to right there, which would have been, and then it goes up to the. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. I find that's a good variable. Another different way would be see how I'm actually hitting the notes now rather than the 1, 3, 5. I'm gonna go up to the C sharp major here. C diminished. Might be a little bit advanced to do this, but what you're going to be doing is working the left hand in the chords. If it feels weird and you still want to try that, try just the right hand or just the left hand. C, E, G, C, G, E, C, E flat, G flat, E, G, C, E flat, G flat, C, G flat, E flat, C, C sharp, F, A, C sharp, F. What am I doing? Sorry. C sharp, E sharp, G sharp, C sharp, G sharp, E sharp, C sharp, E sharp. Notice the E sharp is an F. G sharp, C sharp, E sharp, C sharp. Flatten that for the diminished. C sharp, E, what did I say? F flat? No, you'd say C sharp, E, G would be a G natural, C sharp, E, G, C sharp, G, E, C sharp, E, G. See how those two notes that were sharp for the major that are now diminished really make all the difference. I hope you enjoyed today. If you're going to go back on the last week's lesson, just try and work yourself up from C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and then C. Since we know that G major has one sharp, it's the F sharp. Every single chord that's inside of here, when you think it's an F, it is not. And you'll be able to tell because if you play a G major, and then you go to its relative minor right up, so G major, G sharp minor goes to A minor, because there is no G sharp in G. G major, A minor. If I were to play a B minor here, and it sounds like this, that's because it's a diminished. You're using a diminished triad rather than a minor triad. So anytime you hear something that doesn't sound like, which resolves itself, if you hear that, that's where it should be. Cool? So G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor. Here's where our F sharp diminishes. F sharp in the bass, thumb on the F sharp, flat 3 and a flat 5. So we have F sharp, F sharp, A, and a C. And that gives us F sharp diminished, and that resolves back to our G major. I hope you enjoyed today. I really did. This all will start to amalgamate and become a little bit more easier to digest. Remember to sing along when you're doing these. When you exercise your voice inside your mind and your heart, it comes out through the piano playing. I really enjoyed seeing you. I'll see you next week. Aloha.